A nation united for a World Cup dream.
Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
But is there a more feared side of international rugby than the mighty Springboks?
This was the World Cup that they needed to win.
Cyril Baille!
You knew that this was going to be special.
Cheslin Kolbe!
Oh, it can't get any better than that, surely.
Damian de Allende will score.
Can you recover from a fractured cheekbone in 24 days?
A sport in its purest form, its most spectacular form.
Made me fall back in love with rugby again.
You know, that was the greatest World Cup quarter-final we've ever seen.
Coming into the 2023 World Cup, I'd say France had had a bit of a revolution. The expectation was that they were going to win the World Cup. France, I mean, 5-10 years before that, had been in the doldrums. You know, they were kind of bystanders as other nations like England and even Ireland accelerated and showed consistency at the top level. France, we were talking about, they're a nation who don't fulfill their potential.
Level of coaching, the culture in there wasn't great. There wasn't that connection with the French public. And two things happened. One, they won a World Cup bid. And then you get a coaching staff who are modern, have a good tactical sense, and you've got a home World Cup, and suddenly you've got contenders.
Attitude towards winning at home is huge.
Most of the French players playing in that team had never lost at the Stade de France in a French jersey.
This is an absolutely enormous opportunity for France.
And they knew that they'd be able to rely on incredible support because French people absolutely adore their rugby.
The French rugby public is behind them, but with that comes the weight of having to perform and having to win on the highest stage.
France's best chance to win a Rugby World Cup. But they were playing the defending champions, the Springboks.
Anytime the Springboks go into a World Cup, the feeling back in South Africa is that they should win. I guess before 2019, this was founded on a slight arrogance that no matter what happens, 15 South African men will always have the better of 15 men from any other country. But then after 2019, obviously when Rassie comes on and wins the World Cup, and then they go in as defending champions, this is now rooted in a sense of realism. The pack was really settled. The bomb squad ideology was now paying dividends.
And the bomb squad, you know, that's bringing on the bench or most of them all at one point, adding yet more power.
Funny thing about this 2023 World Cup was that you had the Springboks defending their title, massive self-belief. Ireland for the first time genuinely thinking they could win this tournament. New Zealand thinking we're going to prove everyone wrong here and show that we are still the best rugby nation in the world. France, the public expecting to win the tournament.
There was certainly a belief that French rugby were going to show the world at home in 2023, like their soccer team had done at their home World Cup, that they were the best in the world.
If you're living in France as I am, you have big superstars in different sports in different parts of the world, but Antoine Dupont is France's Michael Jordan.
He has no weaknesses. He is the greatest rugby player I've ever seen, and I think the greatest of all time.
If you had to ask Fabien Galthié who's the one player you don't want to get a knock, it was him.
It was the thing that French rugby fans did not want to see happen. You know, their talisman, their brilliant captain, Antoine Dupont, to fracture his cheekbone.
Which meets the minimum threshold for a yellow card. So yellow card against 13 white. 13. Captain.
You could hear the whole country sigh and shoulders sort of go down. Is this as far as we go if we don't have Antoine Dupont in our ranks? Just the way he lifts an entire nation, he's almost emblematic.
Can you recover from a fractured cheekbone in 24 days? Potentially puts the poster boy of the tournament out of the Rugby World Cup.
in Paris, the host nation France looking to keep their home run going.
France had become almost unbeatable at home. They had this incredible win streak, 17 test matches.
And you feel foreign contact and everything. Yeah, I think that's good.
I have to.
No, it's good. Yeah, no. That's why I was hoping you find, because you want the best to play, you know?
And there he is, the main man, Antoine Dupont, just 24 days after that operation.
The wall of noise that comes off that French crowd when the French team are pumping means that it is an incredibly hard place to play and to go to.
It vibrates, you can genuinely feel it. The thunderous reception that Les Bleus get would bring hairs to the back of your neck standing up. It was one of those nights.
The stage is set, the Stade de France full to the rafters for a match again worthy of a final. France and South Africa for a place in the semi-final. Les Bleus looking to continue their quest for World Cup glory.
Use it!
And Dupont straight away into the action with a left foot kick off the base of the scrum, wearing the scrum cap tonight after that operation on his cheekbone just 24 days ago. Here's Eben Etzebeth, third on the all-time caps list for the Springboks. And Murray Kinsella, they've gone for creativity over pragmatism at fly half. And Ramos flew high, fell slightly heavily.
Antoine Dupont was right at the heart of all the good stuff that France were doing.
There's a little dink over the top from Dupont. It's for Jalibert, and the fly half has scooped it up for France. Dupont already making things happen, and look at Louis Biel. Almost a brilliant score for France.
If you'd just tuned into the World Cup, you never could have guessed that this guy had a serious facial injury only a couple of weeks before that. Having not had that rhythm and that match sharpness, he was absolutely superb.
The call is goal line dropout for Murray Kinsella. Olivon has it. Here's Gregory Aldred. Outstanding number 8 for this French team.
Intense doesn't even capture it. It was just immense, breathtaking, exhausting, and it was only 3 minutes. Above the noise of the stadium, which was the loudest I'd ever experienced, you could hear the hits.
When French teams get momentum and get their ball carrying and offload game going and the pace with which they play with, they're so difficult to stop.
Peato Mauvaka for Cameron Walkie. And they're rumbling forward, France. They're almost there. Mauvaka. Change of direction from Walkie. Penalty advantage, France. Penno for Cyril Baille. And we're barely 3 minutes in. And already the roof is lifted off the Stade de France.
The roof comes off the place when France score early in the game. Off the back of a really dominant maul, which is a big strength of South Africa. And France were like a runaway train there just before the try. It was Antoine Dupont who, again, had just returned from injury, and it was the key figure in the team. He puts Cyril Baille over in the corner.
Look, the guy's on another level in terms of what he brings and what he entertains us with, and to do that on the highest stage possible at a Rugby World Cup in the opening minute was pretty special.
Clovis Reinach tries to charge it down, but the flags are up. Ramos makes sure France come away with the maximum 7.
The atmosphere was brilliant, and you thought, okay, they're up against the defending world champions here, France, but you know, they brought their best stuff early.
Rassie probably prepared his players for what was to come. That it wasn't just playing France, a really good France team, it was playing a nation.
Erasmus didn't need to think outside the box to create a sense of siege mentality. All he had to do was play that anthem, and he played it loud, and he irritated the players. There was not a bust-up, but he had a bit of a spat with Duane Vermeulen, one of the senior players in the group. Duane was like, Rassie, can you turn that down? You're annoying us. And Rassie was like, yeah, that's sort of the point. So by the time the game came, the Springbok players were frothing. They knew they were going to be in for a fight, and they were almost itching for it. If the box clicked, they would have the beating of most teams, if not all teams.
Runs into Thibaut Flamont, who was right on the heart of that driving maul for the first try. Bongi Manambi has spilt the beans, and here comes Peato Mauvaka. Good quick ball for Dupont again. Over the top, here come France once more. Fickou, Gael Fickou. He had Biel with him. Still alive for France. Aldrit. Tonti. Born in Paris, Jonathan Tonti. They're almost there for their second. It's been knocked down by Eben Etzebeth. That could be a yellow card against South Africa.
It's a massive moment when Eben Etzebeth makes contact with the ball there.
He's probably acting more on instinct than conscious thought.
If that's ruled a deliberate knockdown, that's a yellow card. That's a huge moment in the match.
You want your most experienced players not to be afraid to actually try and influence the game and to back their intuition, back their judgment, and make big plays.
It's contentious still. Some people believe it was flat or went backwards. Others still believe it was forward from Etzebeth's hand and should have been a knock-on. I think it depends where you're from.
But you could see Etzebeth was deliberately trying to knock it down backwards, wasn't he? So very clever from the vastly experienced Eben Etzebeth. His 111th Test match tonight. Here's BLBRA, the young 20-year-old Tyro coming in off his left wing. Gregory Aldred again.
Turnover's good.
Turnover South Africa.
Wins the ball.
Duane Vermeulen involved in that, I think. Veteran number 8, kicked high. He's gone backwards, and look at Curtly Arendse. Arendse's got space in front of him, and he will score for South Africa. Against the run of play, the Springboks have their first try of the night.
Clovis Reinach immediately hoists it up, and rather than send a winger after it, Etzebeth goes up, and even though he doesn't win the ball, he causes enough disruption that France don't regain it, and the ball spills and pops up, and who's there but one of the nippiest, slightest wingers in the game.
Let's get here. Curtly Arendse can fly. 12 tries in his previous 12 Test matches coming into this quarter-final. Curtly Arendse.
South Africa just have this habit of producing scrum cap wearing wingers with nitroglycerin in their feet. So as soon as Curtly Arendse gets the ball, he's away and it's game over.
France don't lack pace in their back three, but I just think that first 5 yards off the mark, you know, Kolbe and Arendse, just different level, different type of pace.
Shot clock's down to 5 seconds. Tries to curl it round, and he does so.
The team who takes their opportunities the best on the day will be the one that ends up victorious.
The This is just the second time these two nations have met in a Rugby World Cup. We've got to go all the way back to 1995 to a waterlogged pitch. And Joel Stransky kicked 14 points to see South Africa through to the World Cup final. We know what happened next. Tonti. So often the source of momentum for France. Penalty. So first penalty of the game. Took 15 whole minutes. And Tomat Ramos, from a long way out here on the angle, can put France in the lead. But he won't have the distance. He hits the upright. Willemse can't take it on the first grab, but then scoops it up, puts it over the sideline. No, he doesn't. A chance here for Dupont to get something going for France.
South Africa kicked really smart, and they managed to expose French weaknesses in that regard. They dragged them into uncomfortable spots, they kicked, and France on a couple of occasions produced errors.
Malherbe. France looking for the turnover, but South Africa get the penalty.
It was a little surprising that France looked a little bit unprepared for the aerial bombardment, which has classically been part of the Springboks' strength. We'll put the ball in the air, we'll challenge you that way, and France seemed uncomfortable with it. The first try, yeah, absolutely, it was a poor try to concede probably in a game of that calibre and that magnitude.
When South Africa bring that high kick rate, area bombardment, you know it's coming, but being able to stop it is incredibly difficult.
Steph Dutoy wins the line out. Looked a little unstraight, but they carry on. Here's Arendse, the try scorer, through a half gap. Offloads Jesse Creel now. Slightly leading with the left arm. That's what the crowd are unhappy about. Here's Libek. High crossfield kick. Woki, but it's into the hands of de Allende. Damian de Allende still going the inside centre. South Africa looking for their second try. Reinert. De Allende will score it for the Springboks.
France on this one do seem a little all over the place. For some reason, they weren't able to learn the lessons from the previous high kick. And this time it's a bit more accurate. But again, that was South Africa's strategy against France.
Well, again, France not dealing with the high ball, and the Springboks make them pay.
The cross kick from the block, and from here it becomes a 50-50 ball. Look at all the chasers, green jerseys, Fuku can't handle it. This guy here, I'm a real fan of him, de Allende, goes straight ahead, but look at the effort-on-effort play from the number 12. He gets off the deck, gets back into play, and then gets the score.
I think France would have been really frustrated that such a well-flagged strength of South Africa came to bear. You kind of know what's coming, but stopping it is a very different thing.
It's 12-7 to South Africa.
Both sides have such a big winning mentality.
Okay, use it!
So this was the test that was for me going to decide who was going to charge onto this World Cup final.
Libek again, that high ball. This time Jalabert's underneath it.
No!
So we're through first quarter time. Here's Woki, who was unable to take that high kick that led to the try. Cyril Baille, good carry from the loose head prop. Gallan. Dupont almost scragged by Reinert, but here come France again. It's Olivon trying to get the hands free for BLBRA. Good quick ball. Mauvaka flung out by Gallan, still alive for France. Jalabert, quick hands, is Tonti. Straightens the attack, Jonathan Tonti. Laser-like pass from Dupont to Jalabert, Ramos, Penaud. Back inside to Dupont. Ramos now. They pick and go, do France. Siya Kolbe asked the referee, can I have a go at that? He said yes, and that's exactly what the Springbok captain has done. But do France still have the ball? I think they do. Mauvaka. Thibaut Flamand to Dante again. And France do get their penalty. And Dupont's going to play quickly. Antoine Dupont, Mauvaka, he scores!
It's the kind of heads-up play we've come accustomed to seeing from Antoine Dupont throughout his career, putting pace on the game, seeing the opportunity, not waiting for defences to get set. Peato Mauvaka finishes off the try, and he had an incredible game.
Mauvaka was an interesting one because he'd been in a battle with Julian Marchand, the other hooker, who had probably been the front runner all along, but Mauvaka became an irresistible force. He's just hard to tackle first and foremost. His explosive power into contact is at the next level, but he's extremely skillful. I think you could play him at any position across the pitch.
The quick tap from the everywhere Dupont, man, he has class in the pass to finish.
You know, despite the 2 tries to South Africa, France hit back again. You think, okay, Stade de France, settle down, everyone's okay. France are, you know, back where they want to be. And, you know, Dupont running the show once again.
Ramos. It's been charged down by Cheslin Kolbe. It remains 12 each.
The charge down, it kind of took us all by surprise a bit.
To have the speed off the mark, the timing, and then to execute and get it right.
Cheslin Kolbe later revealed that he had studied Ramos's movements, his little twitches. He knew when he was about to start moving into the kick. And as soon as you start approaching the ball, that's when the player can go. So it's not a fluke. You often see players just running and trying to put the kicker off by being a distraction in his eye line. Cheslin Kolbe was genuinely trying to do what he did. And the fact that he did it is, you know, remarkable.
Yeah. Yes, ball was out.
Yeah, ball's out, says the referee. Good line speed from South Africa, and they've got possession. Here's Jesse Creel, puts it on the toe. Cheslin Kolbe, it sits up for him. Cheslin Kolbe is absolute lightning for South Africa.
A couple of minutes later, to back up that charge down from Cheslin Kolbe with the try that he scored, it just shows again how South Africa can be so dangerous, and whether that's the power game, whether that is the pace they have on their wings, they can switch the game in an instant.
Coming into that quarter-final, the Springboks had not scored a try from a counter-attack throughout the entire tournament. And when you've got pace on the edge, like Cheslin Kolbe offers you, then you know you're a chance.
There are not many people in World Rugby that can beat Damian Penaud in a foot race.
You just know that given half a chance, getting the ball in that situation, it's lights out, it's try time.
Shot clock ticking down once more. Arnie Libbok has hit it very well, though.
Can we please get it restarted on the big stage?
The atmosphere was better than I've ever witnessed in live sport. Louder, more intense.
We're in watching something otherworldly here, and we just didn't know where it was going to go.
Mauvaka comes around the corner, the dummy from the hooker. Good tackle from Mel Herber, the tight head prop. Here's Dante. France are over the line, cheering for the score. Cyril Baille, and he has a second try for France. They get their third try of the half, and the conversion will level it up once more. Ramos dinks it over for the extra 2. We're level at 19.
You could feel it in the stands that the French believed that this was going to happen, that it was their night.
Behind him is Jalabert. Ramos is there as well. Front rows go down. Dupont almost scragged again by Reinach. And here's BLBRA. He's going to kick the young man. Down to Willemse, takes the mark.
Okay, scrum call.
Yeah, well, he's got the option of taking the scrum here, which you don't see very often.
Now, who does that? Who elects to take a scrum voluntarily in their own 22? And that's so Rassie Erasmus. What that says to your opposition is, we're better than you in this department. We think we can win a penalty in any part of the field, and we're willing to take that risk.
Advantage, blue, far side.
There's the advantage. De Allende, he's going to chip over the top for Jesse Creel. It just bounces away from him.
Far side.
There you go. The mark from Willemse. They win the scrum penalty. Now they can kick to the sideline upfield and get the throw to the lineup.
One blue.
It left the crowd perplexed in that it was something that we'd never seen before. But it's the innovation, like if you look behind it now and the reasons why you would opt to go for a scrum, the challenge you're then laying down against a country like France as well that prides itself on its scrum. Like in clubland, famously they say no scrum, no win. Like it's one of the absolute basics of French rugby. So to refuse that kicking duel and say, no, actually we want to bring you the whole way into our 22 and play out of our territory under pressure and scrum against you.
You know, it's just saying we are Springboks. We can do what we like out here. We're different.
Well, what a fillip it would be for France if they can pick up points before half-time. Approaching the final minutes here. Woki again. Dupont. Jalibert. Tonti. France have a penalty advantage. Here's Tonti again. Loose ball out the back to Jalibert. Gets away from Jesse Creel. There's much here. Jalibert flicks it out the back for Penaud. It's gone behind him.
Yep, okay, we're just going to have a review now, okay? So I just need you to give me some space. So Brendan, coming upstairs to you, we've got potential foul play. Put it on the big screen and we'll let you know what we're going to do.
Yes, Ben, I'm going to show you head-on-head contact by South Africa 4.
Eben Etzebeth is almost a throwback to that guy you always had in your team who would be that intimidating factor. But just always has that edge that you think he's probably not going to hurt anyone illegally, but he might.
Oh, yeah. Crown of the head, too.
Head-on-head contact, it is foul play, you need to be lower, so it's a yellow card, it's foul play, and a review.
Eben Etzebeth goes to the sin bin.
Losing any player is difficult, but when you lose one of the best in the world, who is so central to everything positive about that pack as well, you talk about the opportunity then for France, they'll think, well, if they're down a man scrum time, can we turn pressure into penalties there? Is there a different way we can access the game? His work rate, his presence around the field is so big.
It's going to be a big loss for 10 minutes. You're feeling that is a member of the tight five in a game where the big boys are playing a key role. But it was such a breathless game that you never felt like, okay, that's it. Something else was going to happen. You knew something else was going to happen.
Thomas Ramos to put France in front. And he does just that as we go to half-time. 3 tries apiece. Just the one penalty from Thomas Ramos is the difference.
That is probably the best half rugby I've ever seen. This was just about blood and thunder. It was just an incredible, incredible spectacle. I feel so lucky that I was there to witness it.
I think there was a little bit of worry at halftime that this was a real game and that it really could go either way. There was serious jeopardy, which there hadn't been for France at the Stade de France in the past couple of years leading up to this game.
It's their massive chance to win a World Cup, which they've never done before. And you just feel that maybe the weight of expectation on France was so great that maybe it was them that was going to crack first.
Welcome back to the Stade de France. France coming back out.
Okay.
They lead South Africa by 22 points to 19.
When Etzebeth was in the bin, France had to take advantage.
Mathieu Jalibert gets us back underway. 40 minutes from a semi-final. Defending World Cup champions, South Africa. Down by 3, and with Etzebeth in the sin bin. Well taken by Gail Fickou there.
and they didn't. They didn't take advantage of him being off the pitch. It's typical South Africa, down to 14 men and just cling on.
Turnover's good. First player.
France has stolen back possession. Here's Olivon. Charles Olivon looks to offload, does so back to Mauvaka. There's another one to Ramos.
Just about, literally clinging on to the likes of Mauvaka and Dupont at stages where they broke through and it looked like France were finally going to topple them, but somehow South Africa stay in the fight.
Yeah, changes coming on 3, in fact, for South Africa. You've got Handre Pollard coming off. That means Lebok will come off. Faf de Klerk on as well. Reiner will come off there. And you've also got RG Snyman on in the number 19 jersey now. So 3 changes for South Africa.
What a luxury to be able to bring on Handre Pollard and Faf de Klerk. World Cup winners, proven forces, really calm heads.
When those two come on, you are thinking, okay, here comes that serenity, that composure, that greater control in a game like that was lacking from both sides. So control really was needed.
You got a guy on the bench, Handre Pollard, who scored 22 points in a World Cup final 4 years ago. You know, he is the closer for South Africa. Even though it wasn't like a traditional bomb squad as we've come to see it, with all these players coming on at the same time, it sort of had the same effect anyway. I mean, it was confusing at the time. It was very creative, I think, if you can put it that way. Would another team have done that? No, only South Africa. But hey, they know what they're doing.
Etzebeth comes back on, so it just cost them 3 points, that sin bin.
Crouch! Binds! Sit! Advantage!
Advantage to France. Dupont can play. He goes the short side to Jalabert. Steps away from one defender.
Hit the penalty advantage!
Quagga Smith's there working hard for the Springboks. Here's Antonio. Peno, well taken by Mauvaka. Difficult ball. Fiku now. Furious defence there from Faf de Klerk. But Fiku gets away from him and Quagga Smith. They'll go back for the original decision.
Loose head hinging.
Now, here, what do they do? Do they go to the point or go to the corner? It's guaranteed 3, you'd have to say, the way Thomas Ramos is kicking.
The crowd will tell the story. Thomas Ramos has the first point of the second half, and France leads South Africa by 6.
It was such a high-level match. It was fitting of a final.
This time France edged forward, but no, it is an advantage to South Africa.
Penalty advantage.
Jesse Creel sees some space. Inside to Pollard. DLBRA came in off his left wing, but it's been hacked ahead by Damian de Allende, and Antoine Dupont has had to hair back for France. Put on the floor by de Allende. Danger signs here for France. Penalty, South Africa.
Now here's a decision, a guaranteed 3, or do you back yourself and go for 5? Still a long time to go, 15 minutes.
Yeah, so at this stage, South Africa have to score. They're chasing the game, but they're not quite finding the edges of France's defense that is holding up really well. They get a chance in France's red zone, and at this stage, you're thinking, someone's just going to have to run through a brick wall.
Yeah, there's a lot of actions coming from the field to the bench from the South African side, almost making the decision of what to do here.
Arceus Neyman to Vermeulen. De Klerk.
Advantage offside.
Advantage South Africa. Twisting, looking for the try.
In a game where you felt like it's going this way and that, again, in retrospect, when it comes to momentum, but even in the moment, you're thinking, ooh, okay, South Africa are in here. And if there's anyone in world rugby who can do it, anyone in South African rugby who can do it, it's Eben Etzebeth.
De Klerk.
New advantage offside.
Finds one of his forwards. There's Farid. De Klerk to Etzebeth. Eben Etzebeth has the try for South Africa.
Careful. Damian.
That was a key moment when Eben Etzebeth scored, because it was such a dominant moment in a game where everyone had to fight for every single scrap. He just ploughed through.
He runs a good line, not at huge speed, but he's got enough momentum behind him, and then he seems to carry half the population of France as he's just motoring through the gears like this combine harvester, just ploughing through Frenchmen.
When he ran through Mathieu Jalabert, it reminded me of the famous Mike Tyson quotes. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. It was just classic South African power and physicality. You got the biggest, scariest guy in the South African team running at the French fly half. Just couldn't live with him.
Physically, he's an absolute specimen. He's a giant of a man. He's powerful, he's fast. He'll mess you up in contact. He'll be the first one into a scrap, and he'll never leave a teammate behind. And that stuff is essential to South African rugby.
I mean, a huge moment in that quarterfinal. Classically South African.
Pollard adds the extra 2, and South Africa lead.
I think what was really interesting being in the crowd that day was that there were so many different momentum shifts. There were tries scored in different ways. Eben there's rolled his sleeves up and taken the Springboks 5 points up. There's still that uneasy nature in the French crowd because it's such a tight game. They have scored tries in the opening 60 minutes, but it's, how long is this game going to go? How many more chances can we create? But ultimately, this is going to be tight right to the end.
What's happening?
The first time
now, is it?
this French team have been under pressure all tournament long. Do they have a response?
Jalabert gets us back underway. Approaching the final 10 minutes. Taufa Fanua got there very well for France, and they've won possession here. Dupont skips away. Loose ball, Wokie's there.
Anyone?
Furious defence coming in from Dion Fourie. Penalty again to South Africa and Kwagga Smith.
For South Africa to stay focused, to win the ball off the restart, and to be awarded a penalty on halfway, resulting in that Handre Pollard kick, it sort of told you everything about how disciplined they were as a team.
What about this call? Handre Pollard coming on and taking a shot.
Well, we know from long range that Handre Pollard has distance. Pollard from 52 metres. The flags are up. The hero of 2019 has taken South Africa to a 4-point lead.
Never in doubt. It's Handre Pollard. It's a big pressure kick in a World Cup, and he specialises in that. And the thing about him is, even though it's a good distance on the kick, no matter how far out it is, he looks comfortable in his technique.
In a game that's as tense as that, if you can get a turnover and get a penalty, you have a strong chance of winning the game. And having a proven world-class goal kicker, it was invaluable.
Massive change in this quarter-final.
Counter's good.
France need the ball.
As the seconds ticked by, you just felt that there was a sinking feeling around the Stade de France.
Okay, stop now, stop.
De Klerk. Ramos. Still plenty of time in this game for France to find some points. There's Bougharit, replacement hooker. Physical stuff up front still, deep into this contest. Jalabert to Woki. Look at that line speed again from Jesse Kriel. His defence has been outstanding in this quarterfinal. There's Fiku. Humbonambi puts him on the floor. Makalu, his first touch. Hit hard. The Stade Francais man. Chip over the top for Jalabert. Jalabert has it, and he gets away, and Kriel puts him on the deck. France need to recycle. They do so. Wadi has it, but he's wrapped up by De Klerk. Advantage France.
Penalty
Ramos is going to cross kick with the free hit. It's too heavy. Kolbe marks and they'll come back. Well, now there's a decision to be made, what they do with this penalty.
I think this penalty, given the context of time, is really interesting, knowing French rugby how I do, in that I think if this is a top 14 game and it's Toulouse or Toulon or Clermont playing at home, even though this penalty is right in front of the sticks, they'd go for the corner and they would try and go for the win there and then and take the game by the throat.
Well, France had two options. You kick the goal with one of the best goal kickers in the tournament, so automatic free, get back within a point, or you chance your arm. You kick corner, you go for the line-out drive, and you score a try, which will put you back in front of the game.
Yeah, and I think they go for the 3 points, which I think's the smart move. Guaranteed, you'd have to say, with Thomas Ramos.
Look, it's the pragmatic choice. You still get 10 minutes to get yourself into the game. You chip away 3 points. You've got the kick in front of the post that you're going to get.
You need a try to win it from here, but with this penalty, any sort of points will do. Ramos, straight down the middle. No problem. We're back to a 1-point game in the quarter-final.
I think the timing of the penalty was what led them to kick for post. You think 10 minutes to go, there's enough time, we will get another chance to get more points in this match. We know it's a bankable 3, we know it's Thomas Ramos, he's not going to miss from this situation. He will kick the 3 points, we will get back within 1, we will get back down the field, and we will get another opportunity.
So Moefana onto the field for Jalabert. So Ramos here should go into fly half.
It was so important to French rugby for them to stay alive at this tournament. The Antoine Dupont injury, all that stuff, and you just felt it was drifting away, and there was just this anxiety around the stadium. And it was because they were up against the Springboks.
Well, there are scrums and there are scrums. None more important than this one for France. They need to get the ball away. Otherwise, they're going out of their own Rugby World Cup. Front rows are down again. We'll have another reset. More time off the clock.
Front rows, come out here, please.
You just had this increasingly creeping feeling that it was all drifting away, and that the dream of World Cup glory, which of course they'd never tasted before, was going to evade them once again.
Massive noise again inside the Stade de France. These French supporters want to come back next weekend, but their team are going to have to go the distance here. Dupont, they get the ball away. Ficou, Biel, Damian Penaud, Gaël Ficou. What a breakaway from France. Dupont, Ramos, Makalou. Ball's out of the ruck. Vincent Koch was onto it, and now Quagga Smith has the ball.
Release!
And South Africa are less than 90 seconds from another World Cup semi-final.
It was exhausting watching this game.
1 minute left.
I don't know how these players did it.
Ficou can't hold on. BLBRA just scoops it to Ramos. Here's Penaud.
There's that final position where they're making some half breaks upfield and offloading, and you're thinking, this would just be amazing.
No lift.
Taufa Fanua thunders into the green defence.
If they could find a breakthrough here and score a try and win this quarter-final,
30 seconds to go in the quarter-final.
I mean, the roof would be blown off.
Ramos. Awkward ball for Wadi.
It would be one of the great moments of Rugby World Cup.
This South African line speed's been causing problems all evening for France.
Like I said, from the very first minute, you just had a sense that this was going to be immense.
And here comes Damian Penaud over the 10-metre line.
No, lost.
South Africa can't afford to give away a penalty now. Dupont flicks it off the deck to Ramos. What a finish we're seeing here for the second night running in Paris. South Africa lead by a point. Bogarit.
We saw the last 2-3 minutes. Again, you could feel the panic in stadium to try and unlock something in the Springbok defence to try and generate an opportunity and score some more points.
Taufafanua.
I was enthralling. It was absolutely enthralling, and it was right that France got one last shot to try and do it, but it's another brilliant moment of South African defence.
Reza Wadi just takes his time, needs to get low here, but what a carry that is, he's lost the ball. The clock's in the red, and Cheslin Kolbe.
Utter devastation of France immediately in that moment. They sink to their knees.
You know, this was their moment. This was the French Home World Cup. So there was disbelief, there was disappointment.
On one side, you're thinking enormous admiration for the South Africans and what they've achieved and how they've done it. On the other side, you have an enormous empathy for the French, the players, the fans, the coaches, the public. Now, that was their time. And the Springboks took it away from them.
South Africa power on to the semi-final. French World Cup dreams are shattered. They had their chance, but they couldn't find a way past the defending world champions.
You can feel this ubiquitous sense of dejection and deflation. France were my favourites to win the World Cup from the start, so for South Africa to beat them took immense guts, immense accuracy, a little bit of luck, of course, and some clutch moments. If you come out of any struggle victorious, it's just an incredible feeling. But to be a Springboks rugby player, to beat France in a World Cup quarterfinal by a single point, yeah, that's just really special.
This South African side, you've just got to tip your hat to them. They gave up a lot of territory, a lot of possession this evening. But like all class outfits, they have found a way to win.
Well, he couldn't have given anything more, could he? He absolutely sacrificed himself for the cause, and he was fantastic once again tonight.
I was pitch side post game, and after about 10 minutes, the French team decided they'd do a lap of honour and thank their fans, and I've never seen such devastation close up, but particularly Dupont. When it's played properly, and there's few sports that can have this level of intrigue and excitement till a dying death. And it's cruel. It's cruel for the team that loses. It was cruel for France that night, but that's what makes it special.
I think they've still got a really strong chance come 2027. Look, I think they're up there with the top, and they will be, in my opinion, for the next 10 years.
They'll keep that group of players together for the next World Cup, and they'll bear the scars, absolutely, but scars can make you stronger, and I don't think they're going anywhere. I think the French rugby system is in the best condition it's ever been in.
This French team are good enough to go again at another World Cup. Are they mentally going to be able to deal with the scars that a defeat like that has on them? I mean, it was an enormous shame for the tournament, but as we saw 2 weeks later when South Africa won the World Cup for the 4th time, you felt like it was the right result.